I said, okay. I was looking around, who's going to help me with the trunk? And luckily for me, my parents had driven off because the trunk landed up on my own head, and I had to carry that trunk to the Scotland lines.
So, so that was welcome to NDA. That was welcome to NDA.
It was from minute one in NDA. I was welcomed into NDA. There is a room number 100 in the Sudan block in NDA, which is a huge hall where right on the top in the corner where people hardly came and nobody came. So that used to be used by the cadets to sleep. So during the classes. So हमारे जो course के थे appointments, they were caught sleeping there. Admiral Pereira landed up there. पता नहीं how he landed up there. He landed up there and found this whole lot of appointments snoring, and so he tabbed all the appointments all over.
Hi, sir. Jai Hind. What a pleasure to see you this morning, sir. How are you, sir?
Good morning, General, and a pleasure and a privilege to be here on your talk show. And for this interview that you've chosen me, I do believe that it is a good thing that you're doing for all the children, the youngsters, etc. And I mean, if I can be of any help somewhere in the middle, it will be my pleasure.
The veterans like you are real. मतलब मैं कहता हूँ हीरे हो आप लोग सर. ढूंढना पड़ता है मुझे. मुझे ढूंढना पड़ता है. And it is good luck that आप जा रहे हो for this world record, sir. And that is how we got connected. And and when I talked to you on phone, जब आपकी कहानियां सुनी तो मैं बहुत inspired हुआ. मैंने कहा these stories must reach the young generation को पता होना चाहिए. तो बीच में हिंदी इंग्लिश में बात करेंगे सर, जिससे मैक्सिमम बच्चे एंजॉय कर सकें इस टॉक को. तो पहले से थोड़ा अपना बचपन बताओ, स्कूलिंग एंड बचपन टिल यू जॉइंड एनडीए सर. बैकग्राउंड वगैरह घर में क्या माहौल था सर?
Right. To start with, General, I am a second generation officer. My father got commissioned in the Second World War in '43. He saw operations in Iraq and Burma and all that. And then after '47, part of the Indian Army. So I grew up as a army, brat, what they call an army brat. So so my brother and I, we were brought up as army brats. We had the best of what the army could give us, which was actually not too much, but the quality of life was great. And my parents did what they could to put us through the best of education that they could manage in whichever station we were. And so, we were in Shimla, we were in Delhi, we were in Pune. I finished my schooling from Pune, the last 5 years. And before I knew it, I had, I realized it. That's another story as to how I joined the NDA. But how I landed up in the NDA, in July 1970. And so that was it. It just so happens in life, sometimes you don't, look for something and you get something else. So that's what happened as far as my joining the NDA is concerned. But that's not a negative thing. I was just trying to get across as to how, you may think of something, you may plan on something, but you sort of get onto a different track altogether, and then you make a life out of that. So, and so going into NDA for me was very good. It is an excellent institution. I don't need to, sell the idea of NDA to anybody. But for me personally, it was very good. It had a lot of facilities which I could, avail of. So मैंने किया वो सब जो कुछ भी मैं कर सकता था. And so that was actually the foundation was my father. My father was very keen that my brother and I, we do, get involved with games. उन दिनों में games and sports and everything else was a little more important than studies as it is today. तो उन दिनों में तो हमने वो सब किया. He encouraged us. And and then I had a father in school, Father Ursh. He was an Austrian, father, and he got hold of me in my 8th class and started training me for athletics. So that's how I got into this. Football and hockey, in any case, was there in the school. So yeah, so I was the school captain, vagara vagara. But so that was the foundation, and it was the encouragement of my parents, which sort of helped me along. It was there in the background. They never intruded into the thing. Ye bhi karo, ye bhi karo, ye bhi karo. All that kind of thing.
तो शुरू से आपका फोकस था, आप स्पोर्ट्स, यू वर अ स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन, आप फुटबॉल हॉकी खेलते थे, एथलेटिक्स स्टार्ट कर दिया. यू थॉट एनडीए इज द लाइफ, फौज में जाना है. देयर वाज नो, कोई डाउट नहीं था इसके बीच में कि इंजीनियरिंग चले जाओ, मेडिसिन कर लो, कुछ ऐसा?
No, on the contrary, that's what I was telling you. I wasn't expecting to go to NDA. And having been in Pune, you might find it difficult to believe that I did not know about NDA. So it's difficult to believe, and especially since I'm from a Fauji family, vagara. But the point of the matter was that my mother wanted me to become a doctor. She had wanted to be a doctor. For whatever reason, she couldn't manage it. She's a double MA at the age of 50, so that's a separate thing. So I was thinking कि मैं school खत्म करूँगा, and I was fairly good in studies, always in the first, second type of thing.
तो यहाँ पे ना, I'll just interject. I want to interject. ये बड़ी rare combination होता है, good in studies and good in sports. How did you manage this, sir? NDA के बच्चों को बताओ, ये आपने कैसे manage किया? You were playing all sports and good in studies.
वही मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ ना. In those days, the emphasis was more on sports. So studies में my parents, I guess I happened to be sort of good in studies. There are a lot of sportsmen, the sports, those who are into sports persons, who are either very good in sports and not very good in studies.
Yeah.
So let's say हमारे in my colleagues and my classmates and everything else, वहाँ पर वैसे होता था. But I guess I'm lucky that I had the ability, and so my mother expected me to join AFMC. So school खत्म करो. I got good percentage, first class, vagara vagara, and so I was just coasting through. I in fact got admission in Ferguson College in the science stream. तो आई थॉट कि वो करेंगे, 1 साल वो करेंगे, एफएमसी के लिए अप्लाई करेंगे, एंड होपफुली वन वुड हैव गॉट थ्रू, बिकॉज़ माय स्टडीज वाज नॉट अ वीक फॉर फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स वाज नॉट वेरी, आई वाज प्रीटी गुड एट इट. तो वहां से, दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग, वहां से लेके आई लैंडेड अप इन एनडीए. तो और इट सरप्राइज्ड द हेल आउट ऑफ एवरीबॉडी. My parents were happy. There's no doubt. My father is Fauji and all that. But he never told me, go to NDA, join the force, join my unit, vagara vagara. It actually happened with my classmates. My classmates, there were 4 or 5 of them. One of them was, from ACC, the deputy commandant, his son, who was in my class with me in St. Vincent School in Pune, now Pune. And he was very keen to join the NDA, so he got hold of 4 or 5 of us, and he said NDA, and I had no idea. They filled up the form for me. They got my father to sign off for me. I didn't know about it. All of a sudden, I got a call for the UPSC examination on the 26th of December 1969. My father said, okay, let's go. So I got into the car and went for the UPSC examination and gave the examination, and I passed.
Without any preparation? मतलब कोई ज़्यादा preparation नहीं किया आपने?
नहीं, I mean, I was preparing for the final year in school, final test in school. So preparations were, more or less okay. So there was no specific, preparation इसके लिए UPSC examination के लिए. तो वहाँ पहुँच गए. For me, it was चलो यार ये भी कर देते हैं type of thing, because I had no thought about NDA, Army, Navy, Air Force वगैरह वगैरह. वो पास हो गए. And then I got अच्छा उस पास हो गए. उन 5 में से 2 failed in that UPSC. तो हम बाकी बचे 3, and out of which I was just a traveler. So फिर मैंने अपना एग्जामिनेशन दिया, स्कूल का एग्जामिनेशन दिया, वो सब हो गया, did reasonably well. I felt I had done reasonably well. I went and got admission in Ferguson College. I said वो करेंगे. In Pune, it's a fairly well-known college.
Yeah.
तो वो किया. Then all of a sudden, in the period between the school examination and the admission, I mean the starting of the college session, this call came for the SSB, the selection board. So my father said, okay, here's the warrant and here's this thing, that thing, and you go to Meerut. So I said, Arey. So I said, till that time also I was still, I said, chalo, ye bhi kar lete hain. In the meantime, I gave my examination for Dufferin. So, in those days of Dufferin, nowadays it is INS Rajendra. So, वो Dufferin में मैंने my examination दिया, and I said ठीक है, तो ये चल रही थी, गाड़ी चल रही थी, तो मैं चल गया. I went to Meerut. I gave that, I did the SSB, and वो सब करने के बाद I came back. I got through the SSB. I got the medical, वो वहीं पर होता है medical, तो वो medical वहीं पर हुआ, and मैं करके आ गया. I really had not thought कि what is going on, seriously about this.
And no preparation other than whatever आपके father ने बताया होगा, भाई SSB में ये होता है, वो होता है, थोड़ा बहुत किसी से पूछा होगा.
Nothing. The only thing was that the classmate of mine who was hell bent on getting into NDA, he used to tell me, yaar ye prepare kar, ye kar, wo kar. He had links and pings and badi pata nahi kya kya. And I said, yaar, don't buddy, get off my back, yaar. Man, he said, nahi yaar, hum dono jayenge, ye karenge, wo karenge. I said, haan. So anyway, to cut a long story short, I got through. This guy, this pal of mine who was dying to go, he dropped in the very medical because he had a hole in his very eardrum. So wo baith gaya. So out of the 5 of us, Ravi Rajan landed up in. So it is like that. And all of a sudden, the very call-up letter came. ये लो, मैं NDA पहुंच गया. अपना trunk लेके, NDA trunk लेके वहाँ पर NDA पहुंच गया. And वहाँ पर फिर we had luckily for me, my father in the car, my father, my mother, my brother, they all came to drop me to NDA. We had an ambassador car. तो उसमें वो trunk, the specifications of the trunk were given in the joining instructions वगैरह. तो वो सब किया, ये किया, वो ले गया वहाँ पर. At the reception there, they said, okay, you're going to the squadron, which is Foxtrot squadron. And so I said, okay, I was looking around, who's going to help me with that trunk? And luckily for me, my parents had driven off because the trunk landed up on my own head, and I had to carry that trunk to the squadron lines.
So that was welcome to NDA.
It was from minute 1 in NDA, I was welcomed into NDA. So that was the kind of a thing. And मैं कहाँ पर Ferguson College में and FMC की बात कर रहा था. And here I landed up in Foxtrot squadron, damn good squadron, nothing against the squadron, but I landed up in the that kind of thing. So that's how I landed up in NDA. उसके बाद of course life changed.
आपके NDA की मैंने काफी बातें सुनी है कि you were first tell us the concept of blue and blazer and which all sports did you excel, sir? आपने NDA में बहुत you done very well in NDA, sir. तो उसका if you can tell me.
Yeah, well, the blues are given in NDA for exceptional players and or exceptional sports person in that particular field or that particular discipline. So you have blues for all the various sports: squash, tennis, golf, football, hockey, cricket, athletics, all the games which are there. And which NDA provides you all the facilities and very good facilities, no doubt about it. And those who want to take advantage of that and the benefit of these facilities, it's a boon for those who want to take. Most of the guys in NDA want to sham it out. They say, "Yaar, ये बड़ी मैं cricket Sunday पूरा Sunday जाएगा, ये वो होगा." Yeah, I want to sleep, I want to relax, I want to sham it. So most of the players I know of good cricketers who were in school who represented the schools in under 14, 16, 18, जो भी था उन दिनों में, and represented the junior state teams in cricket. They pretended that they didn't know anything about cricket. क्योंकि
टिपिकल ऑफ फौज कि वॉलंटियर मत करो, जहां शैम करना है
वो बड़ी संडे को हमको स्लीप करना है, and that's it. We could sleep standing up, so that's a separate issue. But the point of the matter was, I was, like I said, pretty good in games as far as for my schooling is concerned, etc. In fact, I won the governor's trophy in my school. The governor's trophy in my 10th class is an all Maharashtra trophy given to the best all-round student in Maharashtra.
Oh,
so I have got
amazing,
that.
Sir.
Yeah, so I have
amazing.
got that.
तो आप तो सर रोल मॉडल हो कि पढ़ाई भी कर सकते हो और गेम्स भी खेल सकते हो. यही मैं बच्चों को बोलता हूँ, ऑलराउंडर बन जाओ.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a very difficult thing. We can manage it. I used to come from the practice. The father shop from school used to give me 2 घंटे की practice करते थे. By the time I came back, मेरी जान गई थी. He used to बड़ी निचोड़ो में. तो मैं निचोड़ करके घर आता था. I had to have a bath. Then I had to do the homework जो कुछ भी है वो करो. 8 बजे खाना खाओ. And 8:15 hit the sack because there was no dum left for anything else. And उन दिनों में TV, शीवी ये सब कुछ नहीं होता था. So there was nothing else to sort of keep you up or keep you occupied. So anyway, so then that kind of a background, I landed up in NDA, and now in NDA there was this other thing. I used it the other way around. People used to skip. They used to avoid going into games because they said, yeah, हम अटक जाएंगे एकेडमी टीम में, स्कॉटलैंड टीम में, ये टीम वो टीम, तो अटक जाएंगे. 24/7 you're on the field and there's no rest and all that. So I took it the other way around. I started representing the squadron in games. I was in any case okay at games, good at games. So I automatically became a member of the squadron team, the number one string, whatever was the top string. So that helped me actually in catching up with all the sleep that they were avoiding, because then I used to get lift. मतलब the seniors
जब बाकी रगड़ा खा रहे आप बोल रहे यार इसकी वो ओडी है फुटबॉल की या हॉकी की, डोंट ट्रबल हिम, डोंट गिव हिम रगड़ा, इज अ स्क्वाड्रन प्लेयर.
Exactly. So that I started getting lift from my seniors, my senior appointments and all that, and even the divisional officers, the ones who were handling it. One of them was Colonel Parab, then Captain Parab. He was a 30th course or 32nd course boxer and everything else. So I was, what do I say, something like a blue-eyed boy, So I used to skip classes, and my charges used to be, cancelled, waived off by him. ये वो. तो वैसे भी किया है, ऐसी बात नहीं है कि I was a sharif kind of a guy, but yeah, so I used the games and the sports and the outdoors as a stepping.
तो कौन-कौन से games में आपको blue मिला सर, blue and blazer?
Yeah, okay. The blue, the blues are the topmost thing that you can get in NDA normally. The blazer is, of course, a class apart. So a blazer, very few people get. The blues is the top level. Then you get a half blue, and then you have other things below.
By the prices, huh?
Anji. So I got blues in hockey, football, athletics, and swimming. So these were the 4 blues that I was swimming. Though like I said, my father was a Fauji, so I used to go for swimming, and the pools used to be available in the club and all that. So वहाँ पर सीखा था. So these were the 4 blues. I actually got a blue in cricket also.
Yeah, cricket. उसकी मैं बात करूँगा because आप तो बहुत साल cricket खेले हो सर.
So cricket became I was awarded a blazer in cricket. So that's, there are 4 blues and a blazer.
And a blazer. So you are the best in cricket. That's why I got a blazer and 4 blues in sports. Great, sir. और आपकी क्या CGPA क्या था सर, और what merit did you pass out in NDA when you passed out?
I believe I was 62 in NDA, because I also got involved with a certain amount of detabbing and everything else. So that took place. So एक हाथ से I used to become an appointment and दूसरे हाथ से that appointment used to get me tab. तो ऐसे चलते रहता.
ऐसा कोई किस्सा सर जहां आपको अपॉइंटमेंट बना दिया और फिर आपकी फीती उतार दी हो? You remember?
Yeah, I mean, एक तो there was nothing one could do about it because the deputy commandant then was Rear Admiral Pereira, Ronnie Pereira. You all may have heard of him. He was the naval chief later. He had a reputation of being more NDA than NDA itself. So, he kept NDA on a tight leash because you have to do that because the cadets, there are 1,500 cadets, and if they are allowed to go into 1,500 different directions, so फिर तो हो गया वहाँ पर. So in NDA, like I used to say, we have a compass and it only points north. It doesn't have anything else. That compass has only pointed north. There was nothing else. And he used to help, or not help, he used to ensure that every cadet's compass also pointed north.
So everybody is on the north grid, huh?
एक ही ग्रिड पे थे. मतलब कहने का मतलब कि ये नहीं कि हम सब हीरो बन रहे हैं घूम रहे हैं इधर उधर कॉलर अप करके. So that is the thing. And so once there is a room number 100 in the Sudan block in NDA, which is a huge hall where right on the top in the corner where people hardly came and nobody came. So that used to be used by the cadets to sleep during the classes. So हमारे जो कोर्स के थे appointments, they were caught sleeping there. Admiral Pereira landed up there. पता नहीं how he landed up there. He landed up there and found this whole lot of appointments snoring, and so he tabbed all the appointments all over. So वैसे हम अटक गए उसमें.
This was then fifth या sixth term में?
The sixth term appointments are sixth term.
Sixth term. अच्छा. So final term में you got detabbed by the deputy commandant.
And this was right in the beginning. And then there is my postmate. He's also a brigade of guards, Sanjeev Chopra. So
yeah, my unit.
Yeah. So he was my postmate from Foxtrot Squadron. Then he became the SCC and he carried on. He did a great job. So that's how one kept, in between. In between, I got caught going for liberty, going to Pune because my parents were in Pune. So going, without any permission and liberty card and वगैरह वो पकड़े गए वहाँ पर. तो फिर उसके restrictions हो गए. Punishments you had to do. And at the end of the day, when I passed out from NDA, I had 52 single hikes on my name. 52,
oh my God.
52 हुए क्योंकि every Sunday you had to go to Single. You had to climb up and there was a time frame. You had to run up and run down and all that kind of thing. And on Sundays I was playing cricket. वो backlog आते गया till my passing out parade. There were 52 singles in my name. I said, and I thought कि मैं ऐसे निकल जाऊंगा. I went to say bye bye to the my squadron officers, and this Captain Parab, he said, okay, well, all the best in IMA. You're going to IMA now. Now you are very matured guys. You're not very kids anymore. Ye, wo, and all that. And behave. They are gentlemen cadets. They're not cadets anymore. So ye sab karke, and you keep out of trouble. Behave yourself. Wagera. You got potential. वो करके मैं निकल रहा था. When he said Rajan, he used to say Rajan. So I said, sir. He said, you got 52 singles in your name. I got a shock of my life. I had completely forgotten about that, and I thought कि मैं निकल जाऊंगा. I said, sir, there you have to pretend like you don't know.
You have to give lost look, absolute lost look, huh?
Ekdam lost, ekdam. I said, sir. He said, yeah, you got 52 singles on your name. You know that. I said, I looked around as if this is the first time I'm hearing of it, and that kind of a thing. And I said, so he said, you go to the quartermaster store. We had returned all our kit and equipment and all those kind of things which are given in the first term. तो वो सब हमने कर दिया था, हम तो जा रहे थे. My father was sitting outside with my mother and my brother in that same ambassador, and my same trunk was loaded out into that thing also. They were waiting outside, and he said, "You go to the quartermaster court and get your equipment, reissued." I looked at him. I said, "Sir, my father, ye wo." So he says, "Your father is okay. Now you have to do the 52. So the only concession we will make is you do one singer and it will be counted as two. So you have to do 26 singers."
My God.
अपने तो बड़ी, the earth बड़ी खिसकोट.
जमीन खिसक.
NDA prepares you for a lot of things, but it didn't prepare me for this. And I said, "Yeah, ye." I kept looking at him, staring at him. Very, now what? And the first thing that was in my mind was, how do I go and tell my parents? They're all waiting to take me to, home and say, "Hey, buddy, number one son, very well, got through NDA and all that kind of thing." I said, "Yeah, Ravi, now what?" So I was standing there looking. So he said, "Go, push off and go and tell your parents." So I said, "Yeah." So मैं पीछे मुड़ किया, मैंने बड़ी, थम वम कुछ नहीं किया. I just really did पीछे मुड़. I walked out. I had, the whole length of that corridor. I was wondering कि अभी मैं क्या बोलूँ उनको? What am I supposed to tell them? So anyway, I came out, and then my father saw me, and instead of being, peppy and cheerful about things, he said, "क्या हुआ? What's happened?" So I said, "No," and I was still wondering what to tell them. I mean, a thing like
How
this.
to break the news? How to break this bad news?
क्या बोलूँ? And firstly, they didn't know what single was in the first place. So उनको क्या कहानी सिखाऊंगा at this stage? So I said, "Yeah, this thing." So I said, this thing, I was, bending down and looking into the car, and my father was driving. I was looking at him and I was saying, he said, "What's wrong?" So it must have shown कि,
हवाइयाँ उड़ी हुई है. हवाई उड़ी.
हवाइयाँ उड़ गई हैं. तो मैं सोच रहा था अभी यार. And then my mother said then कि क्या हुआ? So then I turned around and I was just going to tell them when I saw Captain Parab come down into this thing, and he wished my father. He said, "Good morning, sir." He go, and then, "Sir, your son is excellent. This that thing. I've warned him and I've advised him not to get into trouble. He'll do very well in IMA. He's got the potential to even get the sword, but he should be careful." My father said, "Yeah, okay." And he said, "Sir, all the best." And then he looked at me and he, said, so I won't say it. So he said,
"You can say it. There's no issue."
He said, "FO."
FO.
I looked at him. I said, "Sir, no." So वैसे होता था. Those were the officers of those days who.
My God. आपके जान में जान आई.
जान में जान. मैं तो अंदर घुसा, भागा. I said, told my dad, "Take off." My father हुआ क्या यहाँ पर? So afterwards I told him much later what had happened. He said, "Okay, that was the problem." I said, "Yeah, that was the problem." So ऐसे there crazy incidences. NDA में तो the first day we landed up in NDA, I was the senior most of our course. वहाँ पर the divisional cadet captain was in charge of us, system. He got us together and we were standing there. All first timers, very यहाँ पर cut मारा हुआ, यहाँ पर looking like nothing on earth, and हम खड़े थे वहाँ पर, and he said we were looking like biggie billies, actually biggie billy होती है वैसे हम खड़े थे. This was the first day, and उस समय तो हमारे पूरे compass was all over the place. वो north का तो अभी तक कुछ पता ही नहीं. तो वहाँ पर लोग हम खड़े हुए थे. तो he says, "Okay, you chaps." I mean, he didn't say chaps. He called us by other names. So he says, "You."
Other names I know.
Those kind of things, So he says, "You, this thing, that thing, and do you know what NDA stands for?" So we said, "Yeah, ye kya badi baat." So there are always some keen guys. So
Smart, keen guys, keen Kumar.
Extra keen, So हाथ खड़ा किया कि, "Yes, sir." He said, "What does NDA stand?" So he said, You give your name, number, and what. So number so and so, sir. So and so name. Sir, NDA stands for National Defense Academy. So we all thought, yeah, this was a silly question. What does NDA stand for? So we said, okay, anybody else? Then we got a jhatka. We said, yeah, what do you mean? The NDA is not National Defense Academy. So then we looked around. The second guy said, yes, sir. So he said, what do you have to say? So he said, sir, National Defense Academy. So he said, yeah, I just asked that guy, didn't you understand that is the wrong answer? So by the time the 3-4 haath the wo niche aa gaye, he said, yeah, there's something pretty wrong out here. So he said, okay. He said, since nobody seems to know, all of you, eat your ties. So we had to roll up our ties and really put it in our mouth and chew it. By the time, that tie looked like nothing on earth there. So, and that very dye from the tie came off on your mouth and everything else. Purple. So anyway, so at the end of it, he says, remember this, NDA stands for all those who have gone through NDA, stands for not done anywhere.
Not done anywhere.
NDA stands for not done anywhere. National Defense Academy is for everybody else. But NDA, those who have gone through NDA, it's not done anywhere. And I can tell you there are a whole lot of things which you don't do anywhere else. Anyway, so that was NDA. And so yeah, and then we landed up at the military.
Great, sir. So IMA you joined, after 1970 July you joined NDA, sir. Foxtrot. Which batch was yours? This is NDA 44.
I was NDA 44.
NDA 42.
44.
44. NDA 44 and IMA you were IMA which batch? 54. 53. Okay. So you joined IMA in IMA you joined in 73.
In 73, in July 73, joined IMA and passed out from IMA, got commissioned on 16th of June 74.
1974. So IMA में किस company में थे sir?
I was in Panipat company. Panipat company was in the champion blocks, and in when we finished our passing out, I was told that was the last of Panipat company.
We never heard this name.
Panipat, the last company on each battalion was disbanded.
Okay. So we never heard this name, Panipat. So
Panipat company was the last battalion, company in each battalion was disbanded for whatever reason, I don't know. Okay. But ours was the last for Panipat.
So sir, आप commission हुए 74 में, June 74. So what did you opt for? IMA के कुछ you excelled in IMA also, sir? And where was your merit? IMA में क्या किया आपने? It must have been good 1 year.
IMA was a bit of a disaster, not from any other point of view, but from the point of view of getting commissioned. I was doing very well. In IMA, there was no problem, nothing, not NDA type of, disciplinary problems. And I was doing very well. And I was an appointment there. And what happened was, so I was in the first 20. And I had opted for Armored Corps. I was an Armored Corps, and 2-3, the DSS from the Armored Corps, they wanted me. One wanted me in Deccan Horse, one wanted me in 18 Cav, one wanted me in 20 Lancers, and all that kind of thing. So I was doing reasonably well. I mean, I'm not blowing my trumpet, but I was doing reasonably well.
I can imagine.
And they wanted me to join. In fact, I got a DO letter and lanyard and belt and beret from Deccan Horse. Late General Bedia, he was the CEO at that time, and he sent me that letter, and also I was, through Jawan. And what happened was we were playing cricket. I was playing cricket, and we had the triangular meet in those days. I don't know. अभी तक चल रही है कि नहीं चल रही है ये triangular meet. It used to be ACC, IMA, and NDA. तो उस साल it was being hosted by IMA. तो ACC के and NDA की टीम वहाँ पर आई हुई. We were playing the final match when one guy came and he was a technical entry, and so they are not through NDA or anything. No, okay, those which are they have done a degree and this and that. So their post which are is a little different from the normal. So they are not into the north wala. They are still in southwest and southeast. Okay, okay, compass इधर उधर बिखरे हुए थे. So he came onto the ground. हम वहाँ cricket खेल रहे हैं. We came onto the pitch. There's commandant watching. There's deputy commandant watching. All these people are watching the final match. And he comes and he tells me he's from my company. So he comes and tells me कि excuse me, but my blankets are missing. So I said, yeah, there's a match going on. The very umpires and everybody wondering क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पर. The commandant is standing there and watching, and this guy is coming and doing this. That's why I'm saying इनके compass थोड़े उल्टे सीधे. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll meet you after this match. Let's see what's happened. And this is in the summer months. तो उसमें वो blanket के साथ क्या करने वाला है, one really did not know what the problem was. But anyway, I said, yeah, we will deal. Now he expected me to take immediate action कि इसका blanket storeroom में से गुम हो गया है. So then he wanted very instantaneous action. कि मैंने FIR lodge किया तो अभी मेरे को action चाहिए. So I went back in the evening and I found he had gone to the company commander and said this is what has happened, my blankets are missing. So the company commander said, go and tell Ravi Rajan, he's the appointment. He said, I went and told Ravi Rajan, he told me to bloody FO. I said, hey. I said, yeah, मैं cricket खेल रहा हूँ वहाँ पर. I'm telling him, yeah, commandant is here, but I'll meet you after. But anyway, तो वो मिर्च मसाला हो जाता है ना, तो he went and told him कि भाई, he told me to push on. So then the company commander said he wanted a fallen. So वो fallen हुआ to see कि this is in the break kind of. So and in those days, IMA people used to go off into town and really come back and go. Strict this thing of NDA was not there.
Yeah, it was more of a university.
Yeah, it was a well-run, organized, university. So in this whole thing, two of our guys were very missing from my company. One was an NDA guy and one was a direct entry who was a, पिछड़ा हुआ guy. ये दोनों कैसे दोस्त हो गए? I really don't know. But anyway, so he was from Ball Scout, and he was a good boxer. So to cut a long story short, the CSM gave on parade because you covered up for your postmates, and all. So that report came up to me as everybody there. So मैंने वो report onward pass कर दिया कि भाई all in, nobody missing. वो मैंने डेवो को पास कर दिया. डेवो पास टू द स्क्वाड्रन कमांडर. I mean the company commander. Everything okay. तो वहां से कहानी स्टार्ट हुई. And it ultimately ended up with me giving a fall because those guys got caught. I'm cutting the story short.
Yeah, समझ गया. They got caught. So for wrong reporting, you got caught.
And they were in Delhi. Not that they were in
my God.
So they were in Delhi. They had pushed off to Delhi. उन्होंने taxi पकड़ी and they pushed off to Delhi. And to make matters worse, that other guy, he had borrowed these blankets.
My God.
And I had no idea about all this. So मैंने तो उनको on parade कर दिया. So the buck stopped with me. You gave a wrong report. And now I got stuck. Abhi now do I justify giving the wrong report or do I say I'm sorry I gave you the wrong report and then face this thing? अब उस समय यार we were 19 years old. We wanted to save our postmates. We wanted to do this. Yeah, I mean, our ideas and ideals were यहाँ पर थे. Practicality was here. So and rules and regulations. We didn't realize the implications. So to cut a long story short, I gave a wrong report. I mean, I gave a wrong statement in the court of inquiry that these guys were in town, matlab in the company, and so it came out that I gave a wrong report. The battalion commander, he stopped the court of inquiry. He told the guys who were writing it down in manuscript, put your pens down. Don't note this thing, because I was also fairly well known and all, and they realized I was giving a wrong statement. So they said, okay, you come back tomorrow morning and we will take down your statement. In the meantime, think about it. So I pushed off. Everybody told me, he said, yaar, tu kyun aise badi panga le raha hai? Go and tell them that you made a mistake, that they were not there, and that's it. Oh, what about the maximum you'll get detabbed and pani khatam. Don't really get involved with all this. I said, okay. Agle din gaya, so this guy is very, his mother was standing outside, one of these guys, and they said, "Arey bete, it depends on you. Please say that cover up my son, ye wo and all that." Or
तो इसको निकाल देंगे, academy से निकाल देंगे.
So I, like a very smart guy, I went and said, I repeated the same thing. They all badi मैंने अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार ली, and that was it. So I got B-tab. Luckily, I did get, relegated. That other guy got relegated and all that. But and so from within 20 in the order of merit, I passed out 180 without ONQ.
My God.
Minus OLQ, मैं पहुंच गया 180th in the thing. I said, yeah. So for my armored core, warmored core, and everything else, everything went down the hatch, and I landed up in the regiment of artillery. No complaints. The regiment of artillery is a great, but my idea was, this thing.
Yeah. So, sir, cavalry में या brigade of the guards में इसके लिए हमेशा, there was a charm, different kind of charm.
Exactly.
So you landed up. Which unit did you land up in, sir? RT में?
I got commissioned into the 94 Field Regiment, now medium regiment, and then I spent a lot of time in 38 medium, which was it's called, it's got the honor of being called God's Own, and both have got battle honors, etc. So yeah, I mean, no complaints about that part. But I'm just saying how you're looking for something and you land up somewhere else. I was looking for something else, I landed up in NDA. I was looking for something else, I landed up in IMA. I suppose that's the way.
Sir, I want to specifically ask you about your cricketing career. You played Ranji Trophy, आपने services को represent किया, and you played with Kapil Dev and Yogaraj Singh, and उनके साथ. So just share your experiences of playing cricket, sir, at the highest level. You were a seam bowler, है ना?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just for those who play cricket, आपके viewers में से, I was a left arm opening bowler. So left arm opening bowler has got a natural in swing. I mean, those who know cricket will realize that there's a natural in swing, and most of the bowlers, the pace bowlers are right arm. So unka outswing hota hai. So the batsmen are more of them are prepared for outswing, playing against a right arm, opening bowler, a right arm outswinger. They used to find it difficult to play me because mine was left arm and coming into them. So they used to be invariably hopping. Every ball is coming into you all of a sudden. So that was how. So I got my wickets that way. Right from NDA, IMA, and everywhere else. But you should know as to how I started playing cricket, which was in school. I didn't have cricket. My school in Pune did not have cricket. So हम वो Sunday cricket खेलते थे, वो गली cricket type of. In NDA, I landed up and I realized कि यार यहाँ पर to survive, I need to be out more than be in. So I didn't have any. I didn't have any school type, this type, that type. So that kind of a thing. So जो lift मिलती थी, जो यहाँ वहाँ lift मिलती थी, वो नहीं था. So the CSM said, okay, all those who play cricket, there's a selections going on first term. Within the first week, go for very selection at 4 o'clock or whatever. So हम पहुंच गए वहाँ पर white पहन के हम पहुंच गए. Now I had no idea about cricket. Believe me, that's why I'm bringing up this point for those who feel कि यार हमारे बस की बात नहीं है या हमने ये कुछ किया नहीं है कभी. I landed up on the cricket field. All the first termers were lined up, and from this thing, and I went to the end because I didn't know what the hell to say or do कि क्या होने वाला है. So all these Fande Khans they stood on the right side. Sir, I represented Haryana in this school. I represented Punjab in this school. I represented Maharashtra in that very tournament, that thing. वैसे करते करते, and they were all batsmen. If I opened the innings, I was number 1, I was number 2, I was wicket keeper, batsman. ये वो कर करा के we all came down to मेरे पास. So I said, yeah, if I have to get into the team, I better not say I'm a batsman. I said I'm a bowler. So he said, oh. So the first guy who said he's a bowler was Ravi Rajan, yeah, but he number 10 or something like that. In the line. You see how fate works. And I landed up 8th or 9th, I was, or 10th in that, So he said, oh, you're a bowler. He said, what do you bowl? I said, I didn't know what to say. I said, sir, I opened the bowl. He said, oh, very good, very excellent. We are looking for an open bowler. And so what do you bowl? Right arm outswing? I said, no, I'm left. I'm a lefty. So वो तो फिर हो गया वहीं पर. He said, you're a lefty? Oh man, very ये वो. And तो वहाँ से मेरी कहानी start हुई. I had no idea about bowling. I had no idea कि क्या होता है क्या नहीं होता. And I saw those others on the pitch when they were going in the nets. जो करते थे वो मैं करता था. Because I had a natural instinct.
Natural sportsman, good height.
वो हो गया. So that's how I got into cricket in the first place. So it was out
तो आपका रिकॉर्ड भी है सर, आपका रणजी ट्रॉफी में बॉलिंग का रिकॉर्ड भी है.
Yeah, so and I was giving a little background as to how I landed up playing cricket out of nowhere. Or फिर I landed up playing for representing services in Ranji Trophy cricket. And I had luckily मेरे CEOs they said go and play cricket. A lot of CEOs don't allow you to. नौकरी करने आए हो कि क्रिकेट खेलने आए हो, that kind of work. So I landed up going for all these games. I went for nationals athletics also in 70.
Which event, sir? Which event?
100 meters.
Oh, very good.
So I was doing 10.82 I am in NDA. 100. So anyway, so 100 athletics has been my first love. Cricket तो मैं बाद में आया ना, but athletics has always been my first love. 100 to 100, 4 to 100, hop, step, and jump. So this was anyway. So in 1976, I got all 10 wickets in an innings.
All 10 wickets in an innings. Great.
So बाद में जो कुंबले ने किया in 90 with against Pakistan, I had already got 10 wickets in an innings, and it is recorded in Wisden's Almanac in Lords, because that is
which team, sir? कौन सी team के साथ?
So we were against the the naval services team, and in that, and that is considered first class, and that is how it has come up in the Wisden's, because Wisden's record is only first class. So there is, my name is there in Lords, and it's an honor to have your name there in Lords as the first Indian bowler to get 10 wickets in it. So that is that.
तो कितने साल खेले आप क्रिकेट सर?
I played from 74 to 84.
And who are the players you remember? This time पे Kapil Dev, Karsan Ghavri and all would have been there.
Yeah, so I started playing for services for Ranji Trophy, representing the services in 75, and that was the year when Kapil Dev, Yograj, जो अभी Yograj का father है, a whole lot of others, Yashpal Sharma and all those guys for other teams started playing for Haryana and Punjab. Yashpal was Punjab. These two were Yograj and Kapil Dev were Haryana. So we all started playing together. We are contemporaries, so to speak. And in those days, Yograj was a better bowler and batsman than Kapil.
Absolutely.
He was much better. But Kapil Dev used to get the wickets. So because he was faster, and it was a joke in those days that Kapil Dev bowled 6 balls. उसमें से 5 balls इधर उधर जाते हैं. वो एक ball आती है जो wicket पे, the batsman doesn't know which is going to be that ball. The player doesn't know which is going to be that ball. It was a joke in those days. तो उस पे वो विकेट लेता था. So that was the thing. But of course, he went on to become a great bowler.
Legendary, yeah. People evolve also, ना sir. लोग evolve भी करते हैं. As they go along, they evolve, they learn, they get better sense of the game. I'm sure he's one of those guys.
Unfortunately, Yuvraj went the other way.
हाँ.
He could have gone into test straight away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got diverted here, there, acting, a little bit of police का ये वो चक्कर, तो उसमें वो हो गया. Otherwise, he was a much better. So I started playing Ranji Trophy in '76, in which I played against Bedi, Vishen Singh Bedi. I played against Mohinder and his brother Amarnath. I played against all these sort of those names which are this thing, and I also played against people, foreign teams, in the sense the cricketing team used to be, the services team used to be in Delhi during the season, and that is the time when some foreign team was visiting Delhi or visiting India for test series, and if they were playing in Delhi at that time, then they used to have net practice.
Yeah.
उसमें जो सर्विसेज टीम है उसमें से एक दो बॉलर बोलते थे कि जाओ तुम लोग उनके साथ खेलो. So I played with Imran Khan. I played against Gordon Greenwich.
Very good.
I bowled to them. So it is those kind of things. In fact, Imran Khan became pretty friendly, and he gave, at that time Packer cricket was going on. I don't know if you remember. There was a Packer series.
Kerry Packer, sir. I remember everything. Big boys play at night. Big boys play at night.
I was going to tell you this. So I've got that T-shirt from क्या बोलते हैं इसका, Imran Khan. Boys play at night. अभी पता नहीं कहाँ पड़ी हुई है.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, I mean, cricketing was good. Yeah, and it has been good. I am actually entitled to a benefit match by BCCI, but वो अभी होता है नहीं होता है.
Do they give you any pension, sir? आपने इतने first class matches खेले?
Yeah, that is where the services team players are at a little disadvantage, because we are entitled to pension like the others, but it's not come through yet. So I think they're still working out कि क्या है क्या नहीं है, because somehow the other the representation of the services in BCCI is not all
is not there.
That heavy. So, and nowadays क्या, पहले भी it all worked by whatever kind of pressure you could bring or reputation you could bring into the thing. The services team never had that kind of.
Never had. I know. I've been following cricket, sir, and services in all sports. I played services handball, sir, for a couple of years. Couple of years till my CEO told me तूने APTC में जाना है या unit command करनी है.
Exactly.
So I took that hint, and he says you play for the unit and beyond unit. Now go and do course and कुछ करो तो CEO बनोगे, नहीं तो transfer ले लो APTC में अगर track suit में घूमना है तो. So I think it worked in my way. So handball was not much of a game. कोई इसमें ऐसा recognition मिलना नहीं था. So at least I got to reach where I reached because of that sane advice given by him.
No, I mean, very good. It was actually very good. The CEOs at that time looked at the future of their officers and men.
Absolutely.
That was there. There's no doubt.
सर अभी मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, आप ये जा रहे हो वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड के लिए सर, जिसके थ्रू हम कनेक्ट हुए, उससे पहले आप सेंट्रल एशिया भी घूम के आए हो सर. सर ये जो जुनून है सर इस एज में, इस एज में जो जुनून है फिटनेस का है, उसके पीछे क्या राज है? व्हाट इज इट? आपको जो है इस एज में भी, व्हाट्स योर एज नाउ सर?
I'm 68.
68, but you look much younger than 68.
आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर. Yeah. No, well, I mean, that is, I think, genetic more than anything else. But yeah, but it also includes, you have to look after yourself. So I've always been into gym and, gymming and jogging and these kind of things. Even now I go for about 5-6 kilometers jog in the morning, and I do another 4-5 kilometers walk, brisk walking in the evening. So मेरे आजकल 10 किलोमीटर हो जाते हैं, 9-10 किलोमीटर हो जाते
तो
हैं।
ये मैं बच्चों को बता दूं, मैं इनसे मेंटोर करता हूँ सर लाखों बच्चों को, यार सुबह निकला करो शाम को, तो बोलेंगे सर मैं 1 किलोमीटर गया, 2 किलोमीटर, शर्म आनी चाहिए,
Yeah,
शर्म
no,
आनी
but
चाहिए।
you know, you have to have a willpower. ऐसे नहीं होता है. There are times when I say यार ये मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, क्यों नहीं कर रहा हूँ, बैठो और आराम करो. So, but वो नहीं होता है, because I mean from a very young age I've been, you know, sort of doing it, and I feel very awkward. I feel very sluggish if I don't sweat it out in the day. फिर I feel very नींद नहीं आती है ठीक से. That kind of a
सेम
thing.
है सर। अब मैं आई हैव गॉन इनटू साइक्लिंग, आई पूरे उम्र सर रनिंग करता रहा, आई वाज आल्सो एथलीट सर, 100 200 लॉन्ग जंप, फिर रैन रिले फॉर माय यूनिट एज ऑफिसर्स रिले टीम, 4 into 400 meters, till I was a reasonably senior captain, और फिर हैंडबॉल तो रहा पूरी उम्र, played basketball even as a brigade commander sir, actively, you know, so full of BPT में sir, I used to come first among all you know, COs and all officers in the entire armor division, so as a CO.
No, really. I mean, you know, this thing. It's unfortunate that we are sitting like this and talking. If you were together, I would have got up and shaken your hand here.
सेम है सर, सेम है मतलब, और मैं तो डायरेक्ट एंट्री हूँ सर, आप तो 20 में कमीशन ले गए होगे, आई टू कमीशन एट 22.5 सर.
Oh,
So हाँ, so I went to college, military school से college गए, I was not good in studies like you, so I came through the
नहीं ठीक है. I mean, in my days, when we were in school days, the only thing was you either became a lawyer or an engineer or a doctor, or you joined the forge. The forge was when you are not good in studies. So that is how it was, you know, sort of. But anyway, so that
तो
is.
आपका मैं ये सेंट्रल एशिया का पूछना चाहता हूँ सर, अभी आप यू वेंट ऑन अ, कैसे थे, व्हाट इट वाज, अ बाइक ट्रिप और रोड ट्रिप, क्या किया आपने?
Yeah, actually, you see, फौज में बैठ के one did a lot of trekking. मतलब they were called patrols in those days.
But आपने, मैंने we took it as trekking.
So it was, you know, we did a lot of those, that kind of a thing. So I was always very, you know, interested in the trekking part of things and going into the heights. So from 2014 onwards, I got into this thing about going for these treks from Manali upwards to 13,000, 14,000, 14,000, 15,000. Amda Pass, ye wo. मैं 2014. I did Everest Base Camp in 2017. So that was at the age of 63. I did Everest Base Camp, which is 19,000 feet. We walked about 135 kilometers going and coming in those mountains.
135 किलोमीटर चले आप 63 साल की एज में, कमाल है सर, रियली. इसीलिए मैं आपको ये यू आर ऑन द शो, बिकॉज मैं चाहता हूँ बच्चे सुने इस बात को सर, और बच्चे ही नहीं, बड़े लोग भी सुने कि एज का कोई फैक्टर नहीं है.
No, that is there. Age is like I keep saying, जब तक हाथ पे काम कर रहे हैं तब तक करो. तो you know, जब एक दिन नहीं करेंगे तो बैठ जाएंगे, और जब तक कर रहे हैं तो you know,
चलाते रहो.
कराते. So, so that's how I did that thing. I did Everest Base Camp that year in 2017, and then a couple of years फिर वो COVID ये वो you know came up, and then in December last year, I went on a motorcycle trip. I used to have a Royal Enfield 350 from my commissioning days. So on that in the late 70s and 80s, I have done Ladakh and all that in those days on a Royal Enfield 350. उन दिनों में आजकल के जो जैकेट्स हैं, ये है, हेलमेट है, बूट्स हैं, एक हेलमेट होता था, एक लेदर जैकेट होता था, एक बूट होता था, and dark glasses, and we go off in t-shirts and everything else. I mean, you know, it was ridiculous. But anyway, वो किया है. So in those days, those roads and what are now, you know, lovely infrastructure now in Ladakh and Leh and all, that used to be class 3 axis and class 9 axis, वो खच्चर चलते थे उनके ऊपर. तो हमने वहाँ पर start किया था. But anyway, so the opportunity came up in December last year with a group called Victorians. So
oh, I know Victorians. I know, sir. They came to meet me in Ladakh when I was GOC there.
Okay, so Victorians, you know, Colonel, you know, Keshwar, He
Manoj Keshwar, sir.
Manoj, yeah.
He sends me pictures of all his trips.
Yeah, so he keeps. So I got into that, and through one of my squadron officers. Now, Acha, by the way, we are talking about age. That the one who did the trip, Northeast trip, that was a Northeast trip. We did in December. It was a 12-day trip, I think, and it was on bikes. And he is from the 32nd NDA, my squadron. He is 76 years old, and he is the oldest person who has gone over Umlingla Pass on a bike 2 years ago.
You're talking of Captain Chandola.
No. I'm talking about there's a Colonel Tejinder Singh.
Yeah, Tejinder Singh. Okay. 76-year-old.
He's 76 years. He did. He's the oldest person across Umlingla on a bike here.
Great,
and
hats off.
He bought a Royal Enfield just 5 years ago. First time in his life, at the age of 70, he bought a bike. And he's doing so. Age is just a bolne wali baat hai. So I mean that point came up because age ki baat ho gayi. So I went with Manoj that trip, and it was a great trip. And after a long time, after 2 years of COVID, ye wo, ghar mein baith ke, the maximum trekking was from your bathroom to your bedroom and bedroom to dining room. So it was a good thing to sort of go out. And so that trip triggered it off in December last year. And I told Manoj, I said, I'm interested in these trips. So then this trip came up about Central Asian republics. The 4, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan. So that's how I went on that trip. And it was a fabulous trip. I mean, all I can say is to all the people who are watching around wherever they are, if there is one trip you should do in your lifetime, it is that trip.
Going to Central Asia.
Central Asian trip on the old Silk Route.
Old Silk
Route was used way back in the 12th and 13th century for trade across from China right up to Istanbul and beyond. And they used to come right through this area. And this area has got the old historical cities of Bukhara, Samarkand, Tashkent, Kilaikun. We even went down the Wakhan corridor, which is the famous Wakhan corridor, which is strategic in nature for India. So there I was going, driving down the Wakhan corridor, right till the end. There's a village there called Langar. So we went there and stayed the night there. And all along, there's a Pamirs on the left. You're on the road in the middle. In front of you is a small Pamir. And on the right, across the Oxus River, is Afghanistan and Hindu Kush. So can you imagine, these are the things which you have read about from your school days. And there you are in the middle of it. So it's
on bikes? On bikes.
Bikes and cars. On cars. And this Oxus River, which is on the right, is the same Oxus River which Alexander crossed to come to India. So there's a historic, you feel you are something like Marco Polo in that, sort of this thing. I actually felt I was in a time machine and I've gone back to the 12th century.
Great, sir.
I say,
this is on my bucket list, sir. When I was a commander, one of my COs was a DA in one of these countries, and he invited me. We went through the process of even getting a visa and all. But somehow, फौज में ना serving time पे बहुत काम होते हैं. I don't know why I let it slip, but it is very much on the cards.
But there's one thing about General, I must warn you about bucket lists. And I must warn everybody about bucket lists. These buckets you keep filling up, but one fine day this bucket will get a hole in it and start leaking. Then all these things start leaking out. So do these things which are in your bucket list before the very bucket springs a leak.
Start leaking. Wonderful.
So anyway,
no, wonderful.
And that brought me to this thing about the world record, which we are planning.
Which you are attempting now.
Yeah, which is going to start now on the 10th of September. We are going to be doing 40 plus, 40 plus high altitude passes. Yeah, you know, all those LAs, Zozila, Potula, and do them in 30 days. So that is where the world record is. Otherwise, you can keep doing them in your own time and that's it.
Yeah.
But doing it in one shot in 30 days is a world record, which we are hoping to accomplish. Inshallah, dekhte hain.
And you are a team of four veterans, different generations.
There actually, yes, there are four veterans. The oldest is, Colonel Captain Chandrola, he's from the Brigade of Guard. He's very senior. And those guys are from Foxtrot Squadron. And yeah, so yeah, and there's one who's an adventure enthusiast, who's the leader of the team. Is Adiraj.
Yeah, I know. Adiraj.
Yeah. So Adiraj is, so this was an idea between Adiraj and Talan, who's from my squadron. He's an Air Force officer. So they had this germ of an idea sometime. And so that is now, happening, so to speak. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
And isme, the naval guy, sir, naval representative, Arun Jyoti, he was my student in staff college, sir.
He said so. He said so. And then somewhere else also, I believe you all were together or something.
Yeah, I was CO, sir, that he came to visit Ladakh.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So in fact, Arun Jyoti and I are going to be in the same arc.
Okay.
So he's also a Foxtrot Squadron. So it's coincidence, the three of us are. But anyway,
great, sir.
So that is the thing. That's how we are hoping to accomplish this world record. उसके बाद आके बैठेंगे थोड़ा rest करेंगे. Then
all the best, sir, and salute your great determination. Everything that optimizes an officer. कि क्या एक officer में होना चाहिए? Those qualities आप इस age में almost touching 70, you still have it. Sir, मुझे बताओ, अगर आपने advice देनी है young generation को, sir, free and frank, BOAC style से young बच्चों को जो NDA जाना चाहते हैं, CDS join कर, what would be your advice? कि how should they prepare? कैसी personality कैसी होनी चाहिए?
Well, as I see it, the first thing that you should be doing is to get some advice on how to prepare. If you do all kinds of preparations, imagining this, iske suno, uski suno, तीसरे की सुनो, an ex-NDA officer, if you have 20 of them will tell you how to go in. So वैसे तो फिर ना घाट के ना घर के रहो. So the best thing is to get into a preparatory mode. If you can, there are a lot of classes and people who are who are doing professionally managing these kind of things. Get into that, because then that will focus you on to क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. नहीं तो you think ये भी करना है वो भी करना है ऐसे करना है, and then you बिखर जाओगे. जो कोई भी your efforts will be this. The second thing is there should be a certain amount of sort of ambition. There should be a certain amount of passion कि मैं को ये फौज join करनी है. So then you get a little bit of josh to do that. Otherwise, if you have 5 options in front of you and fauj is one of the options, then तो चलती का नाम गाड़ी हो जाता है. So that is the other thing. The third thing is, and I do believe that if you can, the youngsters who are getting ready to, they should start doing a little bit of physical preparations, because क्या होता है कि nowadays everything is very sedentary. बैठ के सब कुछ हो रहा है. Electronic gadgets, everything is there. It makes you sit down and you're quite happy with the world. You're connected with the world, and you think that this is, the sun rises and sets with me. Actually, you need to get out there, thoda exercise karo, thodi daud karo, get a little fit. And so these are the things. And the other thing is, you should be able to communicate properly. So these are the things. Uske baad, once you get into the NDA and all, you will automatically get NDA, IMA and all that. You will automatically get molded into what is required to be done. वो that you need to concentrate on अंदर कैसे जाना है. And I do believe that India's youth has the ability, has the capability to get into the forces. It is just that nowadays everybody is looking at इसमें पे कैसा है, पैसा कहाँ पर कमा सकते हैं, ये है वो है, तो उसमें in that order of precedence, the services come a little lower because our pay and all cannot be compared to the corporate sector or any of those things, the private institutions. तो उसमें फिर everybody says or the parents start saying कि यार ये फौज में क्या जा रहा है, तो वहाँ पर रहेगा, बॉर्डर पे रहेगा, यहाँ पर होगा, एयरफोर्स में जाएगा, एयरफोर्स में इतने बड़ी क्रैशेस हो गए हैं वगैरह वगैरह. So the parents are the ones who invariably, I know of some good friends whose mothers didn't allow them to go into Air Force. They said no. So that is something that I've got to also tell the parents. Let your children grow in whichever way they want to go. So that is a very important thing. And the boys should, or the children should. Nowadays there are girls also. In NDA, I went the other day. I met 3 girls, 3 girl cadets. And I said, oh wow, never imagined there would be girls.
Out of this 19 girls who have gone, 3 of them have been directly mentored by me, sir. Directly. Oh. Yes, 3 girls I have sent to NDA, sir, in this batch. NDA 148. 3 girls. Or
really?
Yes, sir. And we launched a campaign, sir. The day Supreme Court gave out this ruling that girls can join, me and my team, we launched a campaign कि फ्री में हम लड़कियों को ऑल इंडिया वो करेंगे सर, सेलेक्ट करेंगे. वी सिलेक्टेड 65 गर्ल्स, उसमें शॉर्टलिस्ट किया 12 गर्ल्स को हमने 1 महीना प्रॉपर मेंटरिंग, जीटीओ, साइक, इंटरव्यू सब कुछ किया सर, नो कोचिंग, एंड दे हैव जॉइंड एनडीए. सो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी. आई एम प्राउड दैट.
Congratulations, General, very well done. I mean, I wish you more success in the future. It is my I consider India my institution and organization, and I really didn't expect the girls to be landing up in India. So there is, back and forth. Is it good? Is it bad? There are pros and cons, vagara vagara. That time will tell. But I do believe that women and girls need empowerment, and let's see. Hopefully, it works out.
Absolutely, sir. I know these girls, sir. मैं बता रहा हूँ, मैं नाम ले रहा हूँ उनका, रितुल दुहन, उर्मी साहू, शांभवी सर, शांभवी सिंह. ये तीनों लड़कियां, इससे मार्क माय वर्ड्स, आफ्टर 3 years we will touch base and see where did they end up in merit and NDA.
No, I'm sure.
They're too good, sir. They're way ahead. They're too good in every aspect.
No, great. I mean, I've always felt girls, women. I was in the corporate sector for almost 22 years. As a VP, vice president, vagara. I was fortunate to get good, sort of appointments. I've always said, even today, I say that the women employees were always more hardworking. They were more dedicated. They were more focused than the guys.
Yes.
These guys were very, yahan, wahan, ye, wo, karte rehte the. These women used to be focused. I always feel if you have to get something done, something important done, then you have to give it. If you have a choice, give it to the woman.
Give it to a girl. So thank you very much, sir. बहुत मजा आया. We can talk hours and hours, but I'll not take much of your time. All the best for your record, sir. 40 passes in 30 days, all veterans doing it. I'll be monitoring it, sir, and posting it on my Twitter and Instagram handle and all, your entire progress. And hope to see you in Delhi, sir, when you come in the trip and when you come off the trip, sir. So thank you very much, sir. All the very best to you.
Thank you, General. And it was very good of you to have me here. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.